The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Again, Jesus left the district of Tyre and went by way of Sidon to the Sea of Galilee into the district of the Decapolis. And people brought to him a deaf man who had a speech impediment and begged him to lay his hand on him. He took him off by himself away from the crowd, and he put his finger into the man's ears and, spitting, touched his tongue. Then he looked up to heaven and groaned and said to him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. And immediately the man's ears were opened. His speech impediment was removed, and he spoke plainly. He ordered them not to tell anyone, but the more he ordered them not to, the more they proclaimed it. They were exceedingly astonished, and they said, He has done all things well. He makes the deaf hear and the mute speak. The gospel of the Lord. Jesus. So this week's gospel passage presents us with Jesus traveling around the countryside once again. It says, once again, Jesus left the district of Tyre and went by way of the Sidon to the Sea of Galilee into the district of the Decapolis. Once again, repeatedly, Jesus is leaving the smaller, comfortable towns where he grew up, and he's entering into a frontier of the Roman Empire. Deca means 10, and polis means cities. So here in these cities, there's all sorts of dialects and traditions and political views and religious practices. It's very, very confusing and it's very diverse. But despite this, the residents trust and believe in his saving power and bring to him a deaf man with a speech impediment. Jesus groans and cries out, "Be opened," and he heals the man and sends him on his way. Beautiful. So our path through life can always line up with Jesus if we look close enough. I felt it this week. Once again, we leave the comfortable small towns of simplicity and enter into the fast-paced and very confusing world of the pandemic. Lots of different viewpoints, traditions, beliefs, political views. So we have come so far as a community since March 2020. Mask mandates, shutdown, social distancing, blah, blah, blah. You know everything. And it seems like we're all out of it. But yet, once again, we enter into the messy, uncomfortable struggle of the current world we live in. So the newest topic is vaccines, whether or not to wear a mask, and who to blame for the state of the world. So who's right? Who's wrong? Which side is it? Where can we turn for true guidance and information? I feel myself repeating the action of Jesus when I think about these problems, turning my eyes towards heaven and just groaning under the confusing strain of what to believe and what to do. So when I asked a fellow priest about how he is leading his parish, he told me, I don't want to try to be right anymore. I just want to try to be a little less wrong. So yes, it's hard being a leader and it's hard being a pastor during this time, but truly, I can't imagine how hard it is to be a parent or a grandparent, having the strain of trying to make the best decision for your family, for your loved ones. I don't envy you. The thing is, I don't think anyone is truly right. None of us. So seatbelts, wearing a motorcycle or snowmobile helmet, washing your hands before you eat, all these things are established and proven among many other safety precautions for your family. They're no-brainers. But we're in a brand new era right now. No one alive has ever experienced or been through anything like this before. And everyone, from your aunt on Facebook, your neighbor, your coworker, whatever news source you listen to, they all have a different thing to say. So it makes me raise my eyes to heaven and groan. But you know, what does he say next? He says, Ephphatha, be opened. In a world where we don't know who or where the truth is coming from, it seems to me the only option is to trust the one who is truth itself, the one who has been the only constant and unchanging source of love and nourishment this whole pandemic, and that is Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. That is Jesus Christ who makes his home in our hearts. I turn my eyes toward heaven and I groan every time I hear the following conversation. My uncle has just been hospitalized for COVID. Well, was he vaccinated? I turn my eyes heavenward and I groan after hearing this for the countless time. Father, I really want to get together with my extended family, but I've chosen to not get vaccinated. They don't want me to come. And after I let it out, I know now what I will say and what I will do. Ephphatha, be opened. Be open to the fact that I might not be and probably are not right about everything. Be open to the one who commands us, above all else, to love thy neighbor. Whatever decisions you make about a vaccine, about a mask, about what to think, put it through the lens of loving your neighbor. So this is a confusing time. Duh. Obviously. I have my own opinions. I have my own allegiances and promises of obedience as well. So I have promised a life of obedience to the Archbishop and to the Pope. And therefore, by extension, all those in my care, all Catholics, are called to a certain obedience to them as well. But you know what's great about being a Catholic? About being a disciple, obedient to Jesus? Is that we are allowed to doubt. We are allowed to have doubts. Notice how I didn't say suspicious mistrust. That is from Satan, the enemy. But a healthy amount of doubt causes us to look deeper and make our own decisions, even as we placed all our trust in Jesus Christ, in his church, and in her leaders. Please listen closely. Notre Dame Parish will not be mandating masks, whether you're vaccinated or not. I have not done this the entire pandemic, and I don't intend to start now. And I hope that you would trust that I would be explicit about this. Father, if I'm a Eucharistic minister, do I need to wear a mask? My response is, if you would want to receive communion from someone wearing a mask, then yes, you do. End of story. Notre Dame Parish will also not be mandating vaccinations. I don't need to see a card for you to come here to worship. In obedience to and in following the guidance from the Archbishop and Pope Francis, I feel comfortable and totally within my rights to recommend pursuing and getting the vaccine. But such a blanket statement always has exceptions. I respect and I appreciate this. There is no one size fits all, and every single person has their own body, their own past, their own background. Love thy neighbor. Come and talk to me. Some of you have recently come and talked to me about vaccines, about choices to make, about what to think of all this, and I greatly appreciate your honesty and your courage. Please come pray with me. Come dialogue with me. I want to be open, Ephphatha, to you and what you're going through. Notre Dame Parish will, however, continue to mandate the live streaming of all masses indefinitely. If you do not feel comfortable or safe attending weekend masses in a large group, then this option will be available for you. That being said, if you do feel comfortable, you are called, you are wanted, and you are desired to be here every single week. This is the family table, and we are lacking when you are not here. Finally, I don't like tolerance. I don't like the idea of tolerating someone who's different than me, who has different viewpoints, who has different decisions that they've made. Tolerating implies that I will merely deal with it, even though I don't like it. So I tolerate mosquitoes. I tolerate this mic situation that I'm having. I tolerate the endless amounts of spam phone calls telling me about my car's extended warranty. But I will not merely tolerate someone who's different than me. I will not merely tolerate someone who has different viewpoints or opinions than I do. And I will not merely tolerate someone whose pain is different than mine. I want to truly be open, ephatha, to them, what they have to say, why they're doing it, and what they're going through. So we don't have any more answers now than we did yesterday. Same will be true tomorrow. But what we do have is a direction where we can go. The only place where I truly feel is a safe and trustworthy source, and that is the altar, even if I have my doubts. In just a few moments, you're going to be called to come forward, and you will be asked to be ephatha, be opened to the Eucharistic presence of Jesus Christ. You will be asked, ephatha, to be opened to being changed by the one who continually changes me. And you will be asked, ephatha, to be open to a new way of speaking, a new way of hearing, and a new way of loving all those who we're journeying with through this time. Amen.